Welcome to Diaspora Digital Media. I am Lydia Odoada. This is DDM's update. The UN Security Council demanded a Gaza ceasefire. What happens now? The recent meeting between Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant and US officials signifies a critical juncture in the ongoing tension between the two nations, particularly concerning the strategy over Gaza. A day after the United Nations Security Council adopted a resolution demanding a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas and the release of hostages, the war in Gaza Strip has not stopped, and the Palestinian militants have not freed anyone. The Security Council Gaza resolution demanded an immediate ceasefire for the month of Ramadan, leading to a permanent sustainable ceasefire and the immediate and unconditional release of all hostages. Let's give you the details of the implementation of the resolution. And what did the United States do? The United States dropped its traditional UN protection of its ally, Israel, by abstaining from the vote on Monday, instead of casting a veto. But Washington also described the brief text as non-binding. US Ambassador to the UN, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, said on Monday that the US fully supported some of the critical objectives in this non-binding resolution, but did not agree with everything in the text, which also did not condemn Hamas. This sparked immediate pushbacks from other Security Council members. UN states and rights groups and also raised questions about how it could affect Washington's efforts to address other global crises at the United Nations. The question now is the resolution legally binding? Under the founding UN Charter, members of the United Nations agree to accept and carry out the decisions of the Security Council. Many member states have cited this Article 25 in pushing back against the US remarks. All the resolutions of the Security Council are international law, so to that extent, they are as binding as international law is, Deputy UN spokesperson Farhan Haq said on Monday. Ultimately, implementation is a question of international law. Thomas Greenfield's spokesperson Nate Evans told Reuters on Tuesday that the resolution does not create new obligations under international law, such as what the Council does when it imposes obligatory sanctions. Nevertheless, even though the resolutions lack binding provisions, all Security Council resolutions carry great weight and should be implemented, he said. Again, we ask, what happens if the resolution is not implemented? The UN Security Council has the ability to impose sanctions and authorize military force to maintain or restore international peace and security. Such actions requires the adoption of a resolution. To pass a resolution needs at least 9 votes in favor or no vetoes by the United States, Russia, China, France, and Britain. It is unlikely that any council action will be taken against Israel or Hamas if neither implement the resolution demanding a ceasefire for the holy Muslim fasting month of Ramadan, which finishes in 2 weeks, and the release of hostages. In reality, it is sadly necessary to acknowledge that many council resolutions flop regardless of their legal status, said Richard Gowan, UN Director for International Crisis Group. Warring parties all over the world have ignored or paid lip service only to past US ceasefire calls. What are the possible implications of the US view? Rights groups say the US claim that Monday's resolution is non-binding, could create future problems. Louis Charbonneau, UN Director of Human Rights Watch, said the US position risks making countries less likely to comply with them, and that includes decisions the US wants implemented. Sharon Tadros, UN representative for Amnesty International, said the UN Charter was clear on the binding nature of Security Council resolutions, adding, "I don't recall hearing the US question that binding nature when it comes to other resolutions adopted, on Syria, for example. What the US has done is not only made implementation of a resolution that would have saved lives, but both Israeli and Palestinian much harder. It always undermines the entire international system, she said. What do the other four Security Council veto powers think? French UN Ambassador Nicolas de Riviere told a meeting of the Security Council on the Middle East on Tuesday, this resolution must be applied by everyone as provided for in Article 25 of the Charter. During the same meeting, Russia's UN Ambassador Vasily Nebenzia asked if Washington's description of the resolution as non-binding meant the US no longer considered itself to be bound by the provisions of the UN Charter. If that is the case, then there is no point in our discussions in the chamber at all. One of the permanent members of the Security Council has essentially openly stated that it does not accept the charter of our organizations, he said. Russia itself has been reprimanded by the UN General Assembly for violating the UN Charter by invading Ukraine in February of 2022. Russia used its veto power to prevent the Security Council from taking any action against it over Ukraine. China's Deputy UN Ambassador Chen Chang said on Tuesday that Council resolutions are binding and this is beyond any doubt or challenge. He said the US statement that Monday's resolution was not binding makes us question the political will and sincerity of the US. When asked if the resolution was binding, Britain's UN Ambassador Barbara Woodward said on Monday, this resolution needs to be implemented immediately. It sends a clear Council message, a united Council message, and we expect all Council resolutions to be implemented. This one is not any different. What will it be in the end? What is the body language of the US? Let's watch and see. Politics is one subject that will make politicians tilt in any direction. Trump sells God Bless America Bible. The former president of the United States, Donald Trump, who earlier this month became the Republican nominee, posted on Truth Social platform urging his supporters to buy the God Bless America Bible. The sale of the God Bless the USA Bible by former President Donald Trump has garnered significant attention and range of reactions from the public and media. The Bible is priced at $59.99. This Bible includes not only the religious text, but also patriotic inserts such as the US Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. The timing of this venture coincides with Trump's legal challenges and his campaign for re-election, suggesting a strategic move to connect with his support base through religious and nationalistic sentiments. The product is marketed with the endorsement of Trump, who has a history of invoking religious theme and American patriotism in his political endeavors. This marketing strategy may appeal to certain demographics within the United States who align with Trump's political and religious views. However, it has also faced criticism for commercializing religious texts and intertwining them with political campaigns and merchandise. The discussion around this topic touches upon the broader issues, intersection between religion, politics, and commerce in American society. It raises questions about the appropriateness of using a sacred text as a means of political promotion or financial gain. The reactions to Trump's sale of the Bible reflect the diverse and often polarized views on the role of religion in public life and the ethical boundaries of political marketing. The God Bless the USA Bible serves as a case study in the complex dynamics of political branding, religious identity, and consumer culture in the contemporary United States. With this, we've come to the end of DDM's update for today. We say thank you for staying with us. I am Lydia Odwada.